Alright, so let's talk about some potential Pokemon news today because people have been freaking out over this for about a week now, and that's because of the new TCG set, that we had an explosion of Generation 4 representation. I'm not talking about just like a couple of Generation 4 Pokemon being splashed in a TCG set. We have Cynthia, we have Volkner, we're getting all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Alright, Glaceon, Leafeon, but then Mars is just chilling there. We also have some other gym leaders. What is going on? We have Palkia, Dialga, EX. Okay. Now, when I saw this, it was about a week ago. This was like the initial leaks of the TCG set, and then TCG set was eventually released in Japan. We should be getting it, I think, in February or something. So the outside of Japan, we don't know how crazy things are getting, but yeah, we're just looking at this, and it seems pretty straightforward. Like, okay, they're doing some Diamond Pearl. We got 4th generation TCG set, and that was kind of the end of it for me. I didn't want to freak out and be like, SINNOH confirmed over this right here, but the mystery gets even deeper. So Dialga, Palkia, SINNOH starters will be featured in future Tomy merchandise for 2018. And then, yeah, so here's Paul Ryan pretty much saying my thoughts and probably everyone else's thoughts. When you see this, get to have a little bit of skepticism. Don't want to go crazy just yet on the SINNOH remakes, but yeah, TCG references are one thing, but literally some of these mons haven't gotten international releases since the Platinum era, and we're talking about that for the merchandise side of things. So yeah, with that, let's head on over to PokeShopper and really see what's going on with this news. We have Dialga Palkia figurines right there, and then the SINNOH starters. Alright, where's Hoenn? Where's Johto? Where are the starters that are not going to be in the next remake game? Because that's a little crazy, all of them. Just all of it. It's not like we're getting like a random just final evolution figurine because, that sells. People think it's cool. We're getting the entire evolutionary lines. That's something kind of crazy. And if we go even further, why do we have Shieldon in a Great Ball promotion, next to 7th generation Pokemon? Same with Granados. We're seeing Sandygast, Cosmog, Granados. And then, so we got our Kanto classics right here. And then we go into the Alola forums. We have other 7th generation Pokemon. And suddenly, we're starting to get some 4th generation Pokemon trickling in. So the merchandise is really adding an extra layer of, to this. So let's go and read the news just to like kind of figure out everything about this. We now reveal the first Pokemon merchandise scheduled for the 2018 release. Many new items feature in the catalog promotion, including the first images of Decidueye and Dartrix figurines reported on a few months ago following product leaks. So yeah, these aren't leaks, these aren't teasers, this is just straight up the official merchandise that we're going to be seeing from Tomy in 2018. So let's see, where do we kick it off? Here's a general list of what is expected with a rough estimated release date. Again, we'll publish more concrete information when we visit Tomy next month in London and bring you exclusive photography from the prototypes on display. So that means it's going to be interesting to see what happens if there's more SINNOH merchandise that ends up coming out, or how that one ends up playing out. And then we have Pokemon multi-action assortment figurines. Introduction of Diamond Pearl starters is going to be March 2018. Why would we have a product merchandise line coming around March, which is generally when we get like a new game announcement? Now for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I believe that was a May announcement. We had a very late Pokemon Ultra Sun Ultra Moon announcement in June, but this is going to be a mix of things. We're going to go into a new console and then into remake game, so I could see February, March announcement making a little bit of sense right there. So yeah, at least we have the estimated dates on this one, and it looks like a lot of these are going to be for spring and summer releases. So it's not like we're getting the Pyukumuku Pokeball plush, in January, and then all of a sudden it's like we have to wait until March for all this. This is going to be the later year kind of figurine announcement, and it is crazy that they waited to kind of give us all of these starter Pokemon with their Z crystals now that we're actually in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon looking into the next game, and then suddenly Diamond and Pearl figurines. So that's a really interesting thing right there. Now, of course, I can't just say confirmed. I don't want to be the guy that's like SINNOH confirmed off of just the TCG set and the toys, but now things are lining up. It's not like a coincidence or one of the other. It's like, oh, we haven't seen 4th generation TCG for a while, let's go and print it. It seems like we're building up in something with the promotional material, because again, we're not seeing any Generation 3, any Generation 2, we're not seeing anything outside of what's looking to be new and relevant. So what do you guys think? Is it just a coincidence, or is this calculated? Is Game Freak messing with us, or are they legitimately dropping hints going, hey, we already announced that Pokemon game in 2018 on Nintendo Switch. Hey, look at all this Diamond Pearl stuff. We did that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire not too long ago. Don't you want another one of those? You guys seem to like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Like, the Diamond and Pearl remake hype has been insane, and I feel like there were a lot of people that just saw this. They're like, yep, that's it. Diamond Pearl remakes, I'm believing now. I'm a believer. Now, the thing is, like I said earlier, I didn't want to do a video on just this, but the merchandise kind of added to that, snowballed it. So is that also your thought? Like, I didn't care about the TCG, but the TCG and the merchandise makes this a bit more interesting. And then to kind of take all of that information, I want to look at the plausibility going forward, because it is kind of crazy. I know it is a problem, you know, you don't really want to be a trend seeker when it comes to Pokemon games and Pokemon game launches, because you can never predict Game Freak. They're going to throw a new enhanced version, they're just going to drop a remake randomly. It's hard to find patterns and then apply it, but I mean, at least it's good looking at the history as to what can happen when we start getting into remakes versus enhanced versions versus new generations. I kind of already broke this down before, but that was more looking at it from an 8th generation perspective. Now that we have all of this 4th generation stuff floating around, could be more plausible that a remake is on the way. So let's just draw the line right here. You know, we had Gen 2, so Gen 1's over, now eligible for remakes or something like that. So we had new generation, enhanced version, new generation, remake. After that, that kind of threw the balance off, because then we went enhanced, new generation, enhanced, remake. So that just kind of shows, just in the first couple of remakes, anything's possible. We got Gen 2 remakes in 4th generation, we got Gen 1 remakes in 3rd generation. Does that, oh hey, look at that, we're adding up numbers right here. It's basic math and stuff like that, because, oh, if we just add 2 to it, then that means we're set, right? Well, then we didn't get any remakes in the 5th generation, and then it was like generation, enhanced, generation, into a remake. Well, we've already seen this before with the first time, generation, enhanced, generation, remake. So, I mean, that still kind of follows the pattern, but then we didn't get enhanced for X and Y, so now we're just Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. What does that mean? Also, one thing that people will point out, and this is one thing that bothers me, because again, pattern seeking doesn't guarantee anything, and you can't even really use it as evidence that often, but people are saying we get a remake version every 5 years, 2004, 2009, and then 2014, so that means 2019, confirmed, you know, SINNOH confirmed 2019, but maybe that's where the Nintendo Switch announcement kind of gets in the way, because Nintendo Switch, the Pokemon company, Game Freak, they want this game out by 2018. There's interviews, there's confirmation, there's a lot of things that are really supporting this. However, it's game development on a very large scale game on a new console with a project that Game Freak hasn't really taken before. Now, one thing that is really, I would say, approving of getting a 2018 Nintendo Switch new Pokemon game is that they put a lot of their new development onto Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now that means once they get experience on Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, they can really start working on the new Pokemon game as well, which also means a lot of the veteran players, a lot of the people that have already been working with Pokemon games, they've been developing on Nintendo Switch for years now. It's not like Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon comes out, and then they start working on Nintendo Switch game. Nah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Nintendo Switch game was in development before the announcement of even Pokemon Sun and Moon, because when you think about it, Breath of the Wild, that is a massive game. Mario Odyssey, that's a massive game. These games have been in development for years, which shows that the development kit for the Nintendo Switch has been around for a very long time as well. So because of that, I'm just thinking we had an extra year to that, or even if, you know, Game Freak, they were later to the party, they started 6 months, a year later, I mean, we're still looking at a Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey scale game for the Nintendo Switch from Pokemon in 2018. Could be delays, but then maybe that's the plan. You know, they're trying to announce it for 2018, even if it's going to be like a holiday 2018 launch, that still kind of lines up close enough to 2019 to still kind of justify what is going on with the enhanced version versus a remake versus a new generation. Because the one thing that kind of trips up this entire process is that every once in a while there's just a 2-year skip. You know, sometimes we just get year after year Pokemon game, 2008, 2009, 2010, then 2012, then 2014, 2016. But I don't think they're going to do that already. You know, Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, like, I really want to be on the side that Game Freak is trying to have the happiest, most engaged audience, because Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, the engagement really wasn't there outside of Japan, and even for Pokemon Sun and Moon, the game dropped off super hard. That Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, that game had a pretty good amount of staying power comparatively, and I mean, you do the same with Diamond Pearl remakes. That game is all about connectivity, that you go to the underground, you build bases, you engage with friends, and I want that on the Switch more than anything in my life. Like, that is one of the most hype features to me. It's like, alright, Diamond Pearl remakes, it's gonna be cool. I haven't played those games pretty much since they've come out. Like, I never went and revisited the 4th generation Pokemon games, so it would feel like a new experience to me. And especially if they like really mix it up, you know, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, Black and White 2, Platinum version, those have already had new stories. What if they change the region dramatically? What if they change the routing dramatically? You know, everything just gets this massive overhaul, and then you kind of treat it like a new region. You kind of add these extra features into it, because Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, they've already introduced new legendary forms, new mythical Pokemon, new Ultra Beasts, stuff like that. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, those had new Mega Pokemon. So I mean, we could get 4th generation Mega Pokemon. Actually, you know what? Actually, the best thing about Diamond Pearl remake is that we can get evolutions for existing Pokemon again. And maybe that was the plan. Also, Alolan forms, actually no, we have to be in the Alola region technically, but maybe they'll take regional variants to the next level. I don't know. I just want to see evolutions for existing Pokemon again. Diamond Pearl remakes could definitely do that. So, even though it wouldn't be a new generation, we're getting new Pokemon. And maybe they could also splash in new Pokemon. Maybe they're just going to fuse the two together. Instead of getting a Z version, we got Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. That was confirmed in an interview, that they said that instead of doing a direct sequel to X and Y, they did Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire instead. So, I mean, what if we get Generation 8 plus the sequel version somehow? I don't know. Like, anything is possible with Game Freak, and it like depends on how open and large scale they want to make the experience. Maybe they're going to combine it. You know, Johto and Kanto were in Generation 2, so maybe they're going to do Sinnoh and the new region, because Nintendo Switch is capable of that level of data storage, capable of that level of world building and exploration and stuff like that. So we still don't even know if this is going to be an open world concept. We don't know if it's still going to be a classic Pokemon game. We don't even know how crazy the graphics are going to look, how the battle style is going to be. We know nothing about the Nintendo Switch game, which is why I just want an announcement. But I mean, now with all this Diamond Pearl stuff coming in, it's weird. So, I mean, either way, I can make a case for Gen 8. I can make a case for Gen 4 remakes. It seems like anything is well within that pattern. Because, yeah, we're at this weird crossroads. You know, there's a convergence that we haven't really seen before, just because, like, I think Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire going into Pokemon Sun and Moon really, like, messed up any patterns and stuff. So now every situation is possible. Another thing that has kind of sold me is just kind of comparing Primal Clash. Primal Clash was effectively the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire TCG set. This gave us third generation stuff. You know, we have Trico, Vulpix, Torchic, Mudkip, Milotic, all kinds of fun stuff like that. And then we even went into the EX. You know, we have Camerupt EX. Oh, that was a Mega Pokemon. Wailord, Kyogre, Primal Kyogre. We start getting Primal Pokemon as well. We saw Pokemon like Mega Aggron. We saw Maxie as a trainer, as a supporter card. So, I mean, this is the same thing we're getting. However, look at the date released for Primal Clash. That's December 2014. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was already launched by that time. So we already had like leaks and confirmed information and stuff that was like, yeah, we know that it's going to be Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Just, we know everything about the game. So even if we saw like this card before the set, before the game even came out, we already had the demo. We already knew everything about it. But that was just one of those things where it's like, oh, okay. Now we're getting trainers, now we're getting supporters, so why are we getting it before the game's even out? Is this Game Freak just messing with us like, oh, we're not going to do 4th generation remakes yet, but hey, we'll drop in some 4th generation TCG because we haven't seen Gen 4 in a while in TCG. You know, it is a pretty large scale to kind of uphold all 800 Pokemon in the TCG with every generation with all the new sets and stuff, and then also give everyone their fair representation instead of like moving on from generation and then forgetting about it forever. That's why I do really like the remake versions, because like, yeah, we actually get to come back, pay a good amount of tribute to the games after a fair amount of time. I mean, 2014 compared to 2002, that's still a lot. Even Emerald version, like 10 years. Yeah, I don't think people gave up hope or forgot about Gen 3, but you come back to it after a good amount of time, and it feels pretty solid. What else do we have right there? Ultra Prism. So, Ultra Prism, this is the new set that has a lot of the Diamond Pearl stuff, and even going, like, look at it, Rotom. Rotom, back in TCG. We haven't, actually, when was the last time we saw Rotom? Wasn't that Stormfront? Hold on, let me give, like, I actually wasn't expecting this because I was just kind of going through and finding whatever. Yeah, that was Rising Rivals. Yeah, that was Rising Rivals. I don't even know what else to say about it. We had Frost, Heat, Mo, Wash Rotom, Fan Rotom, all that stuff. And then it's getting back into the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon set that shows all the other Generation 4 stuff. So, at the very least, like, we haven't seen this since Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. Like what we saw with the Pokeshopper news. Like, we haven't seen some of these figurines since they were actually released back in Platinum. So, I mean, that's something kind of crazy to consider. I was looking at Crimson Invasion, it's the set that came before Ultra Prism. It gave us everything we needed for the 7th generation. You know, we have Alolan Pokemon, we have the Ultra Beasts, and then even before that, we got Necrozma and Burning Shadows. We got more Shadow as well. So, I mean, a lot of 7th generation on TCG side has already been wrapped up. We don't even have the next Pokemon game announcement, and we're already going into that crazy stuff. Also, remember, when it comes down to Primal Clash, we went straight into that remake game. You know, we went straight into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire from Pokemon X and Y. We didn't do that, but the TCG did. So that's something. I mean, look at these trainer cards we're seeing. We're seeing Mount Coronet. Like, why are you putting Mount Coronet in Ultra Sun? That's just straight up taking from the region itself. On top of all the other things, Trainer Mars. I don't know, guys. It's wild what we're dealing with, what we have going on right now. And I honestly really don't know what else to say about it. Like, did this make you a believer? Is this substantial news? And what does it mean for the timeline? I still believe that Nintendo Switch game has a possible summer launch. It would blow everything out of the water, but I mean, like, if you want to do summer launch into a 2019 holiday game, I think that that's going to keep Pokemon going crazy strong for years to come. Like, that would last Pokemon till like 2022 or something. We get a battle simulator game. There's a lot of options that could happen right now, and I would prefer an accelerated pace. I don't think that we don't need any more time with the 7th generation, or at least Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. We've already done everything these games have to offer. So if Game Freak wants to stay relevant in this fast-paced time of, PUBG being the largest game right now, Overwatch, League of Legends, all these other games, they have staying power. People are going to be playing Destiny 2 for incredibly long amounts of time. We have Monster Hunter Worlds coming out, and that's going to be a larger, longer scale game. So Pokemon, it's good for a couple months, but then you just go back to your other gaming addictions, and I think the way of either keeping up with that is by doing something like that themselves, or just releasing massive games a little sooner. So we're going to see where this goes. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.